Hi, fifth graders. So yesterday we looked at chapter 6, lesson 4. So we were multiplying decimals using models. Today we're going to multiply decimals with our stack and solve method. So if you're following along in your book, we're on page 403. If you do not have your book with you, please remember that I did upload all of these pages onto Canvas, so they are there for you. You are more than welcome to work them out on a blank sheet of paper or lined paper if you don't want to print them, because I know it can take a lot of ink. So we are going to look at example 1 first. So example 1 says Nina is buying peanuts in bulk. The peanuts cost 75 cents for each pound. She purchased 2 1/10 pounds of peanuts. How much will Nina pay? And then round to the nearest cent. Notice how I'm underlying important information, things that I really need to pay attention to. So the first thing it's asking us to do is to estimate, and yes, I know I don't like estimating, but it can be helpful to make sure that you're on the right track with your answer. So 75 cents can round up to $1, 2 1/10 can round to 2, and if we multiply those together, we get $2. So we know that our answer is going to be somewhere around $2. So step 1, we stack and multiply like we do with whole numbers. So 5 times 1 is 5, 7 times 1 is 7, and we don't need to worry about 0 times 1. We know that that's 0. Then we add in our placeholder. 2 times 5 is 10. Then 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. And 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 15. And then just like with multiplying whole numbers, we add straight down. 5 plus 0 is 5, 7 plus 0 is 7, and then 5 and 1. So now for the decimal places. If we look at the two numbers that we're multiplying together, our two factors, and we see how many places, how many numbers are behind the decimal. We have 1, 2 in the first number, and 1 in the second number. That means that we have 3 decimal places in total. So we're going to go 3 from the right to place the decimal point. So we'll start all the way at the end at the right and move 1, 2, 3 places to place our decimal point. So that means our answer is 1 575 thousandths. Now we're not done. Remember, we have to round to the nearest cent. So if we round, we can round up to 1 and, let's see, nearest cent would be 1 60 cents. Or $1 and 58 cents. Either one is fine. So Nina will need to pay about one of those two. And that's around $2. Either one of those would round up to $2. So that is a reasonable answer. If we go to the next page, we're looking at page 404. Our next example says DeMarcus is buying a new guitar pick that costs 50 cents. The sales tax is found by multiplying the cost of the guitar pick by 0 6/100. What is the cost of the sales tax for the pick? So if we estimate, we know it's going to be around $0. So that means that it'll probably only be a few cents. So we're going to stack and multiply like we would with normal whole numbers. And we'll multiply 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. Then we'll count our decimal places. We have 1, 2 in the first number, and 1, 2 in the second number for a total of 4. But wait, Ms. Syke, we don't have enough numbers here. That's okay. Remember from a few chapters ago, we talked about annexing a 0. Remember, that's just a fancy way to say add a 0. So in this case, we'll need to add 2 zeros. We'll start on the right and move 4 decimal places going to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that 50 cents times 6 hundredths is 0.03 or 3 hundredths. So sales tax is only 3 cents. So our product, 3 cents, is close to our estimate of $0. So our answer is reasonable. If we look at the guided practice, now I'm going to work these out on a separate sheet of paper so I have a little bit more space. So number 1, 6 tenths times 8 tenths. And I'll multiply just like normal. Now I have 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. So I start on the right and move 1, 2 places to place my decimal point. So my answer is 48 hundredths. Number 2, 1 and 7 hundredths times 2 and 4 hundredths. So I multiplied just like normal. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. We add our placeholder. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And I add 8 plus 0 is 8, 6 plus 4 is 10, and 1 plus 3 is 4. And I count my decimal places, 1, 2. So I know I need to move 2 decimal places from the right to the left. 1, 2. So that means that my product is 4 and 8 hundredths. Finally, number 3. 9 tenths. Sorry, I'm gonna add these parentheses in so I don't get confused. 9 tenths times 3 and 8 tenths. So I'm going to multiply this out. 9 times 8, 72. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 7 is 7. I add in my placeholder. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. And I add 2 plus 0 is 2, 7 plus 7 is 14, and 1 plus 2 is 3. I count my decimal places, 1, 2, and move 2 decimal places from right to left, 1, 2. So that makes my product 3 and 42 hundredths. So that is multiplying decimals using the stack and solve method. Now some of these numbers, like 6 tenths times 8 tenths, you may notice 6 times 8 is 48. You may be able to do that in your head, and that's totally fine. You can do that. Just make sure that you are counting your decimal places so you know where to put your decimal point. All right. Please make sure that you send me an email or a text message or give me a call if you have any problems. I am here to help you guys. Have a fantastic day, 5th graders.